Welcome to Imperial Interlude. In this episode, we are talking spoilers, and even more spoilers on Obi-Wan, Season 1, Episode 4. This is, if I'm not mistaken, the 33rd episode, so welcome everybody, and also welcome Ralph.
Hey Tim, I'm just bringing up
Kenobi.
Wikipedia to remind what... I'm just bringing up Wikipedia to remind what went on.
Yeah, it's... yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a bad episode per se, but I had one or two things again where I thought to myself, oh, you couldn't you fucking not have done this, please?
I think it a light. I think it was a light episode.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean, compared to say episode 3. You know,
besides one particular part late in the episode, it was a very child-friendly, and let's say it could have been an episode of Clone Wars or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was very much centered around what happened at the end of 3. So with the we saw Kenobi wake up in a spaceship, and them trying to get him.
After getting his butt handed to him by Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
By Vader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he has a bunch of flashbacks and wakes up in a Bacta tank.
Yeah,
trying to tell him to thing, but I mean, that second there was just, it was very, very much, this is me getting my arse handed to me via Vader, and then we cut to basically the Fortress Inquisitorius on that ocean moon where Leia's been captured by the third sister
and interrogated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In a rather reasonable way, I found at the beginning.
Yes, yeah, there was shall we say tame compared to what we have seen in the press in the past with them. But and then we cut back to them on the planet of Jabim, which is the planet they ended up going to, where Tala and Kenobi are meet, I would say, a resistance of sorts.
Yeah, maybe more a railway system, like from Fallout 4. So a an underground organization helping people flee and hide, build up new lives, identities.
Yeah. So
because they say themselves they aren't soldiers; they're just helping. So that's, I think, maybe the birthplace of the rebellion, or one of the birthplaces.
Possibly one of the birthplaces.
One seedling.
Yeah, because I think we'll get to see more about the birth of the rebellion in Andor.
Yeah,
but that's another show that's coming.
pretty much.
Yeah, it's like, but so they know, Kenobi knows that she's been captured. I don't think it was explained how they knew that she was captured.
Leia. Well, I'm guessing that's more or less somebody at the spaceport has seen that third sister has killed that one pilot and then went off with a child, and information is a thing. Let's just take it that way. And when the ex-Imperial officer Tala is fleeing the planet, you can be pretty much sure that there will be some kind of intelligence left behind that keeps her up and on speed about things.
Yeah, and then so they start planning, to where she's been, because they start planning about rescuing her.
Yeah. Basically, Ben wants to go rescue her. Tala more or less volunteers to follow, but the rest just says, no, we are not soldiers, which I've personally found was a interesting deviation from your usual Clone Wars, Rebels, whatever plot where everybody just goes, yeah, of course, let's go help her. No, those people say, no, we are not soldiers. You need to go alone if you want to. We can't help you.
Yeah, but then of course is when they find out where she is, because on that planet of the water moon of Ner, which is in the same system as Mustafa.
Yeah.
So the Inquisitorum is within, easy access for Vader, I guess, in that respects, because he's technically oversees the Inquisitors. I'm assuming, because it's not really said anywhere what the hierarchy is rather than you have Vader and then you have the Force-sensitive Inquisitors.
Oh, I would say
Some
the
former Jedi.
Vader is absolutely the head of that
Yeah.
department, to say it lightly. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to make promises as to the third sister, going, "Yeah, just do what I want to and get me what I want, and you will have your position."
Mm-hmm. So the making the plan, basically, that everybody to go and rescue Leia, and the intelligence they have still states that Vader is on his ship, which was nice of them, to find out where Vader is, and then of course we have Kenobi coming up with some ideas as well. So they basically come up with a plan, and by the looks of it, in that plan as well, as they sort of pressure the resistance to help them in some respects, because I think it's more to do with them hoping, wanting Kenobi to lead them, or to survive, more than than anything. It was a lot of, we're going to do this, you're going to come with us type of conversation. I think with it.
Yeah, but in the
with
end,
some plan.
But in the end, Kenobi and Tala just go on the mission, using her officer clearance, if that has been revoked until that time.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Has it been revoked? Has it not been revoked? I guess they didn't know at the time, and then they go off. What was interesting, or what was interesting from when I watched it, was how it's a water planet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's a scene in one of the clone. There's some stuff in the Clone Wars to do with Kamino, which was a water planet, and in Star Wars Resistance, where that starts is on a water planet as well.
Yeah, but basically the universe is comprised of desert planets, water planets, and jungle.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, you missed out forest as well.
Well, I count that as jungle. Jungle / forest being big greeneries with fucking huge trees, and it's never ordinary tree sizes. It's always fucking huge mega trees.
And then of course it as they're planning, and then they head out to basically get onto the planet, or head to the planet. We cut back to the Reva interrogating Leia and manipulating Leia, saying, basically planting seeds of trying to get information out of them about the safe houses and stuff, because she's hunting for the safe houses.
Yeah, and telling her that nobody will come for her because Ben is dead, and everybody else doesn't know where she is.
Yeah, it's. I'm not sure if she is if she's just looking for the safe houses, or is she looking specifically for Kenobi?
I think
does Reva know he's alive? The thing is, does Reva know he's alive?
Yeah, I guess she does. Because if
well, she does by the end of the episode, yes. But...
Yeah, but also at that point she pretty much would know, because if she wouldn't know, if he had been dead, she would have gotten her reward from Vader.
True, very true. So we have basically Reva interrogating Leia, and then we cut to the infiltration of the fortress by Tala's shuttle, which denotes that she must still have some clearance, because it did the whole landing permission thing, didn't they, with it?
Yeah.
And then she walks to a
security scanner.
What you call it? To a security scanner, where the security officer basically says, "I'm in charge. I'm the security officer here," and she basically says, "I've got some information for the Grand Inquisitor."
Yeah,
I've got some important information, and then she pulls the Grand Inquisitor card on him, saying, "I'll just tell the Grand Inquisitor, you know, that
and
you're being a bit of a dick."
what definition of classified information means. So
Yes.
she basically pulls a "I know something that you don't know anything" card, and makes use of a very strict hierarchy in that universe, because she's also, speaking purely of rank, his superior. So he is technically correct, but she just does what commanding officers tend to do at times, and be just assholes and step aside.
Yeah, get out the way or else type of thing.
Yeah.
And then
you're technically
and then it's,
right, but I'm still your superior. Get a move.
Yeah, and then as she cuts through that, she's on the comm, which you would have thought, and I know it's a probably a minor thing, but you would have thought they would have picked up a transmission. You know.
Yeah, but
the security, you know.
That's a minor thing I can get behind.
It's a minor thing, yeah.
She might use an official Imperial frequency that isn't monitored, so, well, who cares for one or more or less interference that's going somewhere through.
True, it was just like, you know, you would think, but you know,
but at that point we get an answer to the question, how the hell is she going to get Kenobi inside? And fun thing is, she doesn't. She has dropped him off into the water somewhere before, and he's again using his oxygen cylinder to chew on, to get into the base, where she opens a secret hatch at some point.
Yeah, or opens up an airlock or something to let him in, and he manages to get in, and then basically takes out a stormtrooper.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that kind of annoyed me. It's a lock that is handled from within. Why the hell is there a guard? What reasoning behind? Why would you use a guard on a port that's below the water, that isn't really accessible from anywhere else? And why isn't an alarm going off when somebody is opening a hatch underwater?
There's a little bit of a bump there, but not a major one.
It's these kinds of things that usually are completely ignored in any action movies, because there's so much action, you don't have the time to think about them. But since this scene is not slow, but very real time, let's say, and they're just on foot, so there's not much action, you have time to ask yourself, what the fuck?
And as he's going in there, as he's entering as well, we did miss a piece off when Reva was interrogating Leia about that Leia releases the Lola droid, but Reva catches it in her hand.
Which will be important later, children. Take a note.
Yes.
Third sister gets her hand on that little droid.
On that droid, yes. And then, you know, as Kenobi and Capacity Officer, meanwhile, we cut back to Reva doing more interrogation and reiterating her questions. Leia sort of pretends to cooperate, is probably the best way of describing it. And asks if Reva's going to promise Reva so that she won't hurt anywhere. She asks Reva if she can ask her father, and then, of course, that sets Reva off, you know, because Leia's being uncooperative, and she orders the stormtroopers to basically prepare her for torture. Yay, let's torture small children.
Yeah, at that point, the episode gets a bit dark.
It does, yes. And then, of course, we get Leia being led away, you know, by defiant vows not to tell her anything, you know, type of thing. So a little bit of the defiance. Yeah, it's a little bit of defiance that we see in the Leia character. I think, you know, it's the spark of that, isn't it, that they're trying to set up.
Yeah.
To sort of pull in elements of Carrie's performance of that character when we first see her in episode.
And also, kudos to the actress at that point. It's a really convincing. Oh, I will help you, but you need me. You need to let me ask my father first. And the third sister then almost explodes.
Yeah.
But still, gives Leia credit for being, that was sneaky one. Nice. Now you're off to the torture chamber.
Yeah. I mean, the young girl they've got who's playing the young Leia is great. She really is.
She does it well. She doesn't seem to be too unnatural to what's the word I'm looking for?
Wooden, maybe, or just a character. She's not a caricature.
It's not like and anytime else you see children act something, they overdo most things like a character, and at this point she really does do a good job. She's a good actress.
Yeah, she wasn't. I mean,
it's convincing.
All of the main all the main actors that were in like the first 2 episodes, because there was pictures from Celebration, were all at Celebration, so all of them were there to watch the first 2 episodes with the crowd, which I thought was really nice for, for especially for her, the young girl doing it and who's playing Leia and stuff. I thought that was great way of doing it for them. Back to the thing though, is as Kenobi sort of creeping around the Inquisitorum, not the Inquisitorum, that's 40k. The Inquisitor's base. He ends up in a secure chamber, which is marked with a red Imperial symbol, and then when he enters in there, he basically discovers the remains of fallen Jedi. I thought they were originally frozen, like carbonite frozen.
Yeah, that was my first impression as well, and maybe at some point that was the point behind it, and then they just use it as a tomb of a macabre sorts.
Yeah, but the first one that I went, oh, it's Jedi, yes, and then the first one that sort of honed in on was the old Terrasud. It's Sin Yubi, who was that old alien that you saw.
Mm-hmm.
He's from an episode of Clone Wars. He was with there's an episode of Clone Wars where there's I'm trying to think, is that the one with he's in his first appearances before that, but the episode I remember him from is an episode called Lost Lightsaber, where Ahsoka loses her lightsaber on Coruscant, and he and Ahsoka go on basically that quest to get her lightsaber back. Her lightsaber stolen, and he was the Jedi Master that was sort of with Ahsoka, and of course Ahsoka's not happy about it because of the fact that he's old. But age, as you would have said, age isn't everything, isn't it? But there was quite a few different sort of Jedi in there, and then of course you had a youngling as well, which I thought was like, oh, that's harsh.
Yeah, that's dark, and now we know how much trouble Leia is. Seemingly, these people don't restrain themselves from torturing children.
And then we cut to Leia basically being fashioned into a torture harness or torture chair. Similar. I thought it was going to be it's similar, but not fully similar to the one that Han was in.
Yeah, a bit more refined.
Yeah.
The one that Han Solo gets strapped to looks a bit more improvised, like a machining shop stuff, something.
Yeah, and then it's basically it's basically them determined to extract the information that she thinks Leia has. And I think looking back on this whole interrogation arc thing is Leia has no information whatsoever.
Yeah, she even if she would want to talk, she can't. There's nothing.
She's got absolutely no information.
She could tell about the Imperial officer that has betrayed the Imperium, and she could tell about that loader droid, but that's about it.
That's pretty much it. And then she screams out for help as the machine lights up and stuff like that. And then it's about this time, isn't it, where as the torture is, or it's sort of sensing that, I don't know whether he's sensing it, but he does hear the scream, I think, that Leia's in danger. He gets Tala to try and get a distraction, which she sort of does. by, as the as the interrogation machine's approaching Leia, of course, there's a message from Tala to Reva, pretty much to say, look, I've got some information, to basically say she's got some information for her.
Yeah, and in the first moment when I saw the episode, I thought Tala was entering the chamber and talking to third sister, but then again, no, that wouldn't make any sense. So I may have just been not looking correctly.
Was it that time, or was it later on where Tala takes out the Imperial officer?
That's
about
early
that time,
on, because she gets noticed using the comlinks while she's sitting on the station, and then the officer comes and says, "Follow me, we need to talk," and then she just kicks the shit out of him, kills him instantly.
Yeah, subdues him in some way. We don't know if he's dead. I'm assuming he probably is dead by strangulation, but
yeah, I think leaving him alive would be a terrible mistake, because then he could tell who did this to him.
Yeah. So Tala manages to get the third sister out of the chamber and sort of starts spinning a yarn about the fact that she was undercover, she's got some information, they're on.
Yeah, basically she pulls the double agent number on third sister, and third sister doesn't really believe her.
No. And then she does, and then she doesn't, and then
the lights go out in the chamber.
And then the lights go out in the chamber, and we get, of course, the cool Kenobi finally igniting his lightsaber properly. I'm not counting what he did in episode 3 as igniting his lightsaber. Yes, he ignited his lightsaber, but he was like, where this one was more the fact is, I'm going to take these stormtroopers out with a lightsaber. It was very reminiscent to Ahsoka in the opening scene in episode 5 of season 2 of the Mando. Where lightsabers on, slice, lightsaber goes out.
Yeah, you can't see the one wielding the lightsaber, and all of a sudden somebody drops dead.
Yeah, that type of thing. So it was very reminiscent of that, I thought, with the whole thing. And then, he rescues Leia. It his lies, and then she didn't tell you. Then Leia sort of is relieved that he's alive, and she says she didn't tell the Empire anything. Elsewhere, Reva is basically going ballistic because the klaxons, I think the alarms have been set off now. So she wants to know how they escaped the Imperial checkpoint, and then and it's just basically all hell's breaking loose.
Yeah, and then we have a scene where Kenobi contacts Tala via her comlink, and at that point, third sister is trying to let her taken into custody, and that distracts the stormtroopers a bit, and then she just fisticuffs them into oblivion, which annoyed some people on the internet because, they're wearing a stormtrooper helmet, why is she just kicking them out? Well, get yourself a motorcycle helmet and just ram your head against the wall. It hurts. No amount of protection. And it's a bloody movie. Get over it.
Yes, I know.
And after all,
Tala breaks free, gets up as Kenobi starts using his lightsaber to take out the pursuing, because it's like they're creeping through the thing fine until the Seeker stroke probe droid that's there sort of sees them, and then he takes out the droid, and that sets the alarm off. And then of course we get them fleeing through the tunnels as Reva is heading down to that area with a purge trooper as well as some stormtroopers. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I noticed that one, though that didn't help them very much, did it?
No. But it's nice to see that they're bringing that type of thing in.
Yeah, they just don't rely on your usual, we've got one beastie mini, and then we've got some red shirt troops that can be discarded. There's a bit more to it.
Yeah, there's more variation.
And it also adds to the visual effects if you have one or more enemies to look at that are potentially dangerous, and not just, people in white armor shooting like they never held a blaster before.
Yeah,
and also,
I mean,
Ben seems to be.
As well as,
also Ben seems to have some more control over himself again, because he starts reflecting blaster shots better than before.
Yeah.
and actually uses
Also,
them to his advantage.
And also, I think as well is the thing with the Purge Trooper and the different types of Stormtrooper that we're saying is, I think we've got to remember as well. Back in '83, George probably didn't even think of things like that. You know, we'd had pilots, both drivers and space pilots.
Yeah, we had scouts, we had
stormtroopers, and that's
transport
scouts.
captain.
We had scouts, ATST pilots or drivers and pilots of the TIEs. They were the different types of stormtrooper, but the helmets were very much, or the look was very much the same.
Yeah,
the helmet.
Even snowtroopers were basically just a different helmet.
Yeah, where now you've got the Purge Troopers, which are the helmet and look look totally different. You've got the Death Troopers as well from Rogue One, which we're probably going to see in Andor again, which is great.
Shore Troopers as a variation of Scout Troopers.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Gen 1 and Gen 2 clone trooper helmets.
Clones. Yeah, with the T. And supposedly Moff Gideon's getting a T helmet as well in Season 3 of Mando. But that's another piece of news.
The Imperial Guards red helmets.
Yeah.
Which I've always thought they looked very much like a Cylon.
Yeah. Very much. So then we get the Reva heading down there, and we get, some stormtroopers attacking Kenobi in one of the tunnels and shooting, and I don't know, did he deflect it and it broke the glass, or they
I think
firing?
that was a stray one he deflected, but I can't really tell. And in the end, it doesn't matter. A glass gets cracks, and they are somehow caught between two fronts because they get more reinforcements from stormtroopers front and rear, so that's getting dangerously interesting.
Yeah, so they take out the ones. Yep, as Kenobi tells Talia, because they managed to meet up to take Leia. He's holding the door's been shut. I think because he blasted the bolt back to shut the door.
Yeah,
and he's holding the
classical,
water open.
The classical shut the blast door sequence we've seen so often.
Yeah,
shoot the mechanism and it will lock up.
Yeah, and then of course we get the Talia taking out the troopers that are attacking them as they're heading out, and she's telling Kenobi to run as the glass is spider webbing, and then as the stormtroopers come in, he manages to run, and the doors close behind him, and you get the scene of basically the stormtroopers being drowned.
Floaty stormtroopers.
Which, because supposedly those suits are
limited space worthy, yes.
Yeah. So it's like, but anyway, that's neither here nor there.
You could,
and then
you could argue that the water that gets in with that high amount of pressure just knocks them unconscious. So maybe they're not dead, just unconscious.
Well, we don't know. Anyway, they managed to get up to the top where the platform is.
Yeah, and at this point,
Kenobi
I really
grabs a greatcoat and
that's
like an officer.
Where I just, that's fucking mental. So Kenobi already, his facial hair and everything, he doesn't look like any Imperial officer at all. And then again, he takes a way too big officer's coat and hides the girl underneath.
Hides the small child underneath, yes.
And
but I
seriously,
suppose if there's chaos going around and stuff, people might not be paying attention,
No, I can see that working on a marketplace with civilians running amok. But we're talking a highly classified military installation.
True.
No, that's the one thing where I was, no, this is too far, people. I know you made a good entrance in getting into the base, but this is just you at this level of being visible to everybody else. She could have just walked with them, and people would have thought less of it than somebody trying to hide a 6-year-old behind his coat.
But anyway, we get them on the platform as the fifth brother and fourth sister march. They almost march past him.
Yeah,
I mean the fifth brother is as angry as can be, blaming the third sister for the mishandling of it all, which is true, actually, to be honest. she didn't need to bring Leia. It's basically her hubris or her drive or whatever it is. Her overconfidence and rage.
Yeah, her quest on
Just
being hell-bent on getting Kenobi so she could get what the place of being Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, it's just there's something there. There's definitely something more there. That's why I really do think she may be one of the kids from the beginning, and is blaming Kenobi for what happened.
Could be, but yeah. So, Kenobi, Tala, and Leia are on the platform, and then Third Sister appears and orders everybody to stand down and capture them.
Well, she yells at them, doesn't she? She yells and you start getting the monologuing, don't you?
Yeah.
Between them, where you've got Reva and the Purge Troopers and Stormtroopers on one side with the other two Inquisitors.
Yeah,
and on the other
that's
side,
pretty
you've got
much
Tala,
the
Kenobi,
scene
and
where
Leia.
every audience member goes, yeah, just shoot the stun ray and put them back. Just don't start talking about anything. The classical evil villain explains his plot to the captured spy, and spy then escapes and can defeat the plot.
and then as they're talking, we get, I thought was a really cool scene of some T-47s, which we've only ever seen in what you call it, on Hoth and snow. So flying over the water and basically blasting the platform. But it was nice. It was interesting that they were actually hovering as well when they were doing it. So almost like a helicopter in a little bit.
And that again was I would say predictable move on the writer's place, but a nice move. And they didn't need to have Ben and Leia walk like a weird-looking centaur. They could just have been sitting somewhere, getting out via air ducts or something, and then they could have sent the true speeder to the rescue.
But then we get them basically running to their ship to get away to Tala's Tala's shuttle.
They run up to the speeder. One of the speeders goes down on the platform.
Was it one of the speeders lands? Yes, one of the speeders lands, doesn't it? Because the other one
opens the cockpit. Then the three guys get in and lift off, and the second one just keeps everybody else busy for a second.
Yeah,
flies off, and then Third Sister tosses him what I guess is some kind of fuel,
some sort of
fuel canister or something, and basically that takes him out in one medium-sized explosion, and he just plummets to the water,
to the ground. But then, of course, we get the fifth brother basically scowling at the Third Sister before he walking away, going, "You're going to pay for pretty much pay for your
this is going to cost you."
And then, of course, we get him again, don't we? We get a very furious Vader.
No, before that, we get the actual scene where the lonesome speeder goes on board of the waiting rebel ship.
Lands on the ship and
then goes off. After that, there's a very angry Vader.
Yes.
Almost decapitating Third Sister in his rage. But she still has an ace up her sleeve.
Yes.
A very old trope that has been used more than once in the Star Wars franchise.
Yes. But I can see from that I've seen rumors about that they are planning a Third Sister TV series, but I'm just wondering whether the end of this, especially from that, is Vader's going to be a Jedi Fallen Order situation where Vader basically kills her.
Potentially, yeah. And I think when she reveals to Vader that she had put a homing beacon on the three hostages, that's nice. It's probably somewhere on the girl. Yeah, it's her droid.
Yes.
Seriously, you're planning a hidden device on the girl's droid. Why the fuck is the droid's eyes now going from blue to red, indicating, oh, I'm so evil?
That's probably why. We need a cue for the audience to watch, you know.
They could have gotten away with a short red flicker with his blue's eyes, or a something along those lines. No, he's just red.
Yes, that's it. That's the very last sort of closing scene of it, really, and of it, isn't it? With the droid, with them sitting there heading. It's not said where they're heading to. I'm wondering if they're heading to Alderaan.
No, I'm guessing they go back to that station where Obi-Wan has been sent to initially. Simply because they need another episode.
Well, yeah, there's 2 episodes left. We know there's two episodes left. And we know from what has been sort of mentioned is that there is going to be another Vader Kenobi confrontation. Not sure when that would be. So it's either going to be they're heading back to that casino well, that version of, I would say, Nar Shaddaa that we saw. I'm not sure if it would be that one or to the planet where they escaped. But even then, don't know. I thought they might have just been heading straight to what you call it, to
Alderaan.
To Alderaan. And then,
I think that there's a very good reason why they can't go straight to Alderaan, because they can't have any links from a terrorist attacks go to Alderaan, so they would need to have a stop somewhere in between to get Leia off the ship and have her return home without having any connections to those.
Yeah, it was definitely the shortest of the episodes. I think it was shorter than.
Yeah, it was only 39 minutes if I recall correctly.
You know, it was a short episode.
Yeah,
but and it was pretty much maybe a filler's the wrong word. It was still an enjoyable episode. It progressed the story a little bit. It filled in that back of getting Leia back with Kenobi.
I think the final 2 episodes. I think it fulfilled multiple small things. Kenobi gets acquainted with some kind of rebel network. B, the rebels are starting to see that there are still fighting Jedi and even rogue Imperial officers out there.
Yeah.
And C, we need some kind of getting Leia back again.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you know, and then we'll see what they come up with this week's episode, I guess, and then the final episode the following week, and then where we are basically waiting after that for Andor, and then the Bad Batch.
Yeah, and then the circle begins anew. And
then in February we get Mando season 3.
Yes.
I saw an interesting. Well, someone's comment going. I really hope we get to see a flashback of Hayden as Anakin. Because why would you hire Anakin just to dump him into the costume?
Well, he had been without costume once, so.
Yeah, we've seen him once, and it was very brief. I've got a suspicion that they brought Hayden back as Anakin, not for just Kenobi, to portray Vader, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to get to see an Anakin Force Ghost or flashbacks with Ahsoka.
Potentially, maybe. But basically, I think it's pretty safe to say that all these TV series Disney has put out and is putting out in the next few months can be seen as one big family.
Yeah.
Or one entwined universe. So I wouldn't put it past them to have things interlock very much like Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as well as and I think the reason to get Hayden back as Vader is just to get him back, you know, just to say we got him back.
Yeah,
we approached him. He said yes because
on the list.
Yeah, on that list of we asked the old actor to come back as that character, partly for redemption for him, because he was vilified as playing Anakin in episodes 3 and 4 when they first came out. Sorry, 2 and 3 when they first came out. The films weren't liked. I think we can say it's very much similar to how the fandom has looked at episodes 7, 8, and 9. I can see 7, 8, and 9 in 20 years' time well, yeah, they're fine.
I think one of the biggest problem of those movies was, speaking of prequels now, showing. Basically, these movies were political statements and bookkeeping with a very large dosage of romance, and I don't think those things really fit well together. If they had maybe done a bit less politics and just stayed true to the original Star Wars recipe, I think those films would have been received much better. But then again, I'm no film writer.
Well, yeah, man, but that's similar to what you could say about the last batch, isn't it? The way people react to them was probably similar to the way people reacted at the time to episodes 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. So it's
also I
different
think
films
getting Christian Hayden as Vader just helps them because they don't need to equip someone else with the costume again.
Exactly.
Yeah, a cost-saving measure.
To portray the character. But I think it also opens that door should they want to have, Anakin turn up in anything, as Hayden turn up as Anakin in anything. They can easily do that and not.
Yeah, or maybe
have to worry about it.
Maybe we will have in the 5th episode of Kenobi some kind of
flashbacks
and dream sequences or something along those lines. And then the final confrontation really is at the end of episode 6,
which is supposedly where we may get a Qui-Gon Jinn appearance.
And also, at some point, Ben needs to get back to Tatooine. And
yes, he does. He
needs to get some grey hair. Also, we still haven't gotten his grey appearance.
Very true. But on the whole, it was. I'm going to say fine.
Yeah,
it was a fine episode. It wasn't on the heights of 3.
Yeah, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd say this is a 6 to 7, roughly.
Yeah,
more a 6, to be honest. A, because it was a very short episode, and B, because the story arc wasn't that deep. It's a very run-of-the-mill. The hero gets in with the help of somebody, achieves his goal, gets out with the help with again somebody else, and there's a little cliffhanger for the evil guy at the end. The end. That's basically it.
That's it. And I think that was really it. So, but it's Kenobi's going to be like this episode, a very tightly scripted 30 minutes.
Yeah, and just as I glance over the Wikipedia entry for this episode, what I remember now, what amused me a lot was they showed in the escape scene a mouse droid that got shot.
Yes,
and I love these little buggers to death. I don't know why, I just love them. And I always felt poor for the one Chewbacca is roaring at, because the droid really can't help it. It's just a droid.
Yes, it's not his fault.
He can't even defend himself. He can't speak, he can talk. He doesn't even have arms to wave around helplessly. It's just a little remote-controlled car.
Very true. But yeah, so yes, we got to see a mouse, and I think we got to see we've seen it a couple of times. I think we saw a power thingy, a gonk droid as well a couple of times.
Gonk.
Yeah, the gonk droids I think we've seen as well. But it's nice to see these things. Definitely nice to see. Them.
I'd like
going to that stuff.
I actually some there were images going around the internet having some parody making Gonk the droid, the series, and I'd actually love to see Disney make even a 5-minute animated special on Gonk and his adventures or something. It's something like the shorts Pixar's always doing. I think that would be hilarious.
I mean, there's a meme going around, isn't there, which is before acting in episode 4 New Hope, Alec Guinness had never seen Ewan McGregor. Performance as Obi-Wan Kenobi in episodes 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, jeez.
people
from the
making
bad jokes.
And I think the worst part on that is people then instantly react to it without thinking for 1 microsecond.
Oh yeah,
on how and why, and
there is a lot of reacting without thinking. I think at the moment, definitely a lot of reacting without thinking.
Yeah,
but on the whole, yeah, definitely a 7. I think.
Yeah, it's interesting, light entertainment. It's nothing to remember currently, I'd say, but maybe that will change with the last episode.
Yeah, I think the last couple of episodes, I think we'll get some changes and stuff in that. And I think from a TV point of view, like we said, it didn't perpetuate the full plot, the whole the full thing. It was tying up some of the loose bits from episode 3, I think, and getting Leia back to Kenobi was one of them.
Yeah, it's a bit of a not crossroads, but similar. It's something. Yeah, we see how the dots connect in the upcoming timeline.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, with that said, I thank you a lot out there for listening to us rumble for 45 minutes. I thank you, Ralph, for being here, and we will be back next week when we will be discussing the 5th episode of Boba Fett. Until then, stay safe.
Not Boba Fett, Kenobi.
Did I say Boba Fett?
You said Boba Fett there, Tim.
It's all the bees to me.
It's all the bees.
All the bees. With that said, the Force be with you. Until next time. Bye.